Welcome to Jelly Bean Junction Learning Centers. Dear families, we want to take this time to welcome you and your children to Jelly Bean Junction Learning Centers. Our desire is to maintain open communication between our staff and parents. We look forward to working with you to develop a positive relationship. The philosophy of our school is to work with the needs of the whole child. This includes their physical, emotional, social, mental growth, and development. This is done in an atmosphere of exploration and discovery. Children are respected and are helped to gain a positive self-image. Physical needs. Children are kept clean and safe. They are taught good health habits and safety guidelines. They are provided with small and large muscle development activities which aid in good body management. Emotional needs. Children receive emotional support verbally as well as through hugs. They are taught to identify, understand, and cope with their feelings in acceptable ways. Social needs. Children are taught to relate to their peers and teachers. They are taught respect and consideration for others. They are shown good manners and given behavioral guidelines. Mental needs. Children are provided with a planned curriculum of educational activities and sensory experiences to enhance cognitive learning. These include language, science, health, safety, social studies, math, readiness, music, and art. We hope you'll find this handbook useful while getting to know our policies and procedures. Thank you for choosing Jelly Bean Junction Learning Centers as your child's care provider. Sincerely, Bonnie Roby. Center Parent Information. The center is licensed to operate legally by the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services. This license is posted in a noticeable place for review. A toll-free telephone number is listed on the center's license and may be used to report a suspected violation of the licensing law or administrative rules. The licensing rules governing childcare are available for review at the center. The administrator and each employee of the center is required under Section 2151.421 of the Ohio Revised Code to report their suspicions of child abuse or child neglect to the local Public Children's Services Agency. Any parent of a child enrolled in the center shall be permitted unlimited access to the center during all hours of operation for the purpose of contacting their child, evaluating the care provided by the center, or evaluating the premises. Upon entering the premises, the parent or guardian shall notify the administrator of his or her presence. The administrator's hours of availability to meet with parents and child-to-staff ratios are posted in a noticeable place in the center for review. The licensing record, including licensing inspection reports, complaint investigation reports, and evaluation forms from the building and fire departments, is available for review upon written request from the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services. It is unlawful for the center to discriminate in the enrollment of children upon the basis of race, color, religion, sex, disability, or national origin, or disability in violations with the Americans with Disability Act of 1990. For more information about child care licensing requirements, as well as how to apply for child care assistance, Medicaid health screenings, and early intervention services for your child, please visit jfs.ohio.gov/cdc/families. Program options. Jelly Bean Junction serves children from the age of 6 weeks through school age. Jelly Bean Junction believes that all children deserve a safe, educational, early childhood environment. Beyond private pay tuition, all centers accept subsidy and payments from local county offices of Job and Family Services. If you are interested in any of these programs, please see your center director for more information. County subsidy tuition. All centers accept local county subsidy for payment from the Department of Job and Family Services. Parents must comply with the billing process and requirements established by Jelly Bean Junction. Parents on county subsidy are required and responsible for any activity fees, summer fees, late fees, and absent days beyond the maximum allotment determined by the county. Families must comply with their full-time or part-time status, or they will be subject to additional fees and/or withdrawal from the center. Co-payments are set by the county and must be paid weekly. Families must check children in and out daily. Failure to do so could result in additional fees and disenrollment from the program. Based on the center's availability, we may offer part-time care. Payment information. Tuition is due according to the terms and conditions established in this handbook. Payments are due each Monday for the current week. Payments may be made by credit or automatic withdrawal from a bank account through our online payment portal. A late payment of $25 will be added to all accounts not paid by Tuesday at noon. Unpaid balances will result in disenrollment. No tuition credits will be given for illness, holiday, professional development day, or weather. In the event of an unforeseen event that causes the center facility to be unusable, the center ownership has the ability but not the duty, to abate the tuition for the period of time the center is unusable. All tuition abatement decisions are at the sole discretion of center ownership and will be determined at the time of the unforeseeable event, as each event may have its own unique set of circumstances. Annual registration fee will be due upon enrollment. This fee will be due each year to maintain enrollment. All payments will be applied first to late fees and past due tuition before being applied to current tuition. Tuition will automatically increase annually beginning on January 1st of each year. A tuition charge of $1 per minute per child will be assigned to parents who leave their children beyond your center's closing time. Along with the $1 per minute, there will also be an additional $15 per child fee charged on the 6th minute. This money will be paid to the staff member responsible for the care of the child or children. We ask that families be out of the building no later than 5 minutes after closing time. Time will be assessed according to the center's attendance system. Private paid children attending the school for more than 4 hours each day are considered full-time. Children using PFCC will be determined by the county. Some additional fees may be necessary from time to time to cover special events, such as in-center activities, for example, field trips and guest speakers. If action is necessary to collect past due amounts on your account, in addition to any past due amounts, you shall also be responsible for any and all costs incurred related to such collection, including but not limited to filing fees, court costs, and attorney fees. Tuition rates change based on the age of the child, not the classroom which the child is assigned. Vacations, long-term illnesses, and planned absences. Please notify the director if your child will be absent from the center. If a child is absent for 5 consecutive days and we do not hear from you, the child will be withdrawn from the program. Vacations that last for 1 week, 5 consecutive days in the same week, may be paid at half tuition. Half tuition for missed weeks must be paid in advance or the late fee will apply. Vacation fees that are not paid in advance may result in withdrawal. Re-enrollment will depend upon available space and will require the payment of an additional registration fee. Parents receiving subsidized childcare must adhere to county and state policies regarding absent days. Failure to comply with county and state policies will result in additional fees and/or withdrawal from the center. Families will receive a maximum of 4 weeks of half tuition vacation time annually. Child record requirements for a licensed child care center 5101-212-15 of the Ohio Administrative Code. Children's records shall be confidential but shall be available to the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services for the purpose of administering Chapters 5104 of the Revised Code and Chapters 5101-212 of the Administrative Code. The immunization records shall be subject to review by the Ohio Department of Health for disease outbreak control and for immunization level assessment purposes. Late child pickup. If a parent realizes that circumstances beyond their control are going to delay pickup, a phone call is requested. This is important as many children fear they have been forgotten when parents do not arrive at their usual time. A charge of $1 per minute per child will be assessed to parents who leave their children beyond your center's closing time. Along with the $1 per minute, there will also be an additional $15 per child fee charged on the 6th minute. This money will be paid to the staff member responsible for the care of the child or children. We ask that families be out of the building no later than 5 minutes after closing time. Please remember our staff is anxious to get home on time to their families and commitments. Time will be assessed according to the center's attendance system. This fee is to be paid by drop-off the next day. We will make every effort to contact the child's parents and/or guardians and emergency contacts. After 30 minutes of no contact past closing time, local authorities will be contacted. Child to staff ratios. Jelly Bean Junction will maintain the ratios put in place by the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services. Ratios may be doubled for children 18 months or older during nap time if all children are on their cots and nap time does not exceed 2 hours in a 24-hour period. The ratios are shown on the chart below. During the week, we may have special guest teachers for activities like music, yoga, sports, and dance. Throughout the year, we will have visitors like puppeteers, musicians, jugglers, animals, etc. The charts below show examples of full-day schedules for infants, toddlers, preschool, and school-age students, although each classroom does have an individualized schedule for their day. Hours of operation and holidays. Each center's operating hours can be found on page 3 of this handbook listed under center locations. All location hours are subject to change. Any changes will be announced via our parent communication app. We are closed for the following 7 days each year: New Year's Day, Memorial Day, Independence Day, Labor Day, Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving, and Christmas Day. If the closure occurs on a Saturday, we will close the Friday previous. Should the day fall on a Sunday, we will close the following Monday. The centers will close early on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve at 2 p.m. The centers will also be closed 2 days per year for professional development training for our staff. The 2 dates will be announced in advance. Full tuition is due the weeks in which these holidays fall. The number of times the center will be closed is kept to a minimum. Parents will be given advance notice in the event that the center needs to close for other reasons. In the extremely rare circumstance that we are forced to close or delay opening, it will be announced through our electronic parent communication program. Enrolling in the program. Before the first day of enrollment, you must pay all appropriate fees, complete all forms in the enrollment packet. The child's medical statement must be provided to the center on the appropriate form 30 days after enrollment and yearly thereafter. By the appropriate age, all students must have Center for Disease Control and Prevention routine immunizations. Jelly Bean Junction does not enroll children without immunizations. Jelly Bean Junction adheres to the requirements of OAC 5101, 215, 16, and 25 regarding child record requirements, emergency and health-related plans, and medical administration, food supplements, and medical foods. If your child has a health condition or disability, we will make every effort to meet your child's needs. The center director will meet with you and your child's teacher to discuss the condition. A healthcare plan will be developed to train and inform our employees of any procedures, warning signs, and emergency actions that should be taken. If emergency medication is required for your child, Jelly Bean Junction must have the medication on site at all times. Jelly Bean Junction reserves the right to refuse care without your child's emergency medication. This includes, but is not limited to, asthma, allergies, seizures, and developmental disorders. Any change to the enrollment information must be communicated to the office immediately to ensure current information is always on file. This is for the safety of your child. All information regarding your family is kept confidential within our center staff. There is a yearly registration fee of $50 per family. This fee is due upon enrollment and annually in the fall. This fee is non-refundable. In the event of a rate increase in the excess of 3% annually, you will be notified 1 month before with the amount of the increase. Jelly Bean Junction employees agree that the employee will not, directly or through another company, from date of employment through 1 calendar year from the date of the employee's termination date, provide child care consulting care or services to any of Jelly Bean Junction children. All conversations relating to enrolled or disenrolled children, families, staff, or the company is considered confidential and may not be discussed in person, via social media, email, or any other method. Non-custodial parents and custodial situations. Jelly Bean Junction shall be provided a certified copy of any court order applicable to a child enrolled at Jelly Bean Junction, including but not limited to parenting, custody, or protection orders. A parent of a child enrolled at Jelly Bean Junction who is not the child custodial parent will be given the same rights as the custodial parent unless there is court documentation limiting access and conditions of the non-custodial parent on file at the center. If custody or court papers are on file at Jelly Bean Junction, they will be strictly followed unless the custodial parent requests a more liberal variation of the court order in writing. If there are court papers in the child's center file that deny or limit the non-custodial parent or guardian's rights to visitation, we cannot release the child. Staff will call the custodial parent and report the circumstances. If the parent insists or is threatening the staff, we will call 911. Disenrolling your child. When transferring to another Jelly Bean Junction, there will not be an additional registration fee. All records will also be transferred by Jelly Bean Junction prior to disenrollment. We ask that you give us at least a 1-week written advance notice. We also request that you provide us with the reason for disenrolling, for example, moving or changing jobs. If the 1-week notice is not given, you agree to pay the 1-week tuition fee prior to withdrawal. In the event your child is absent for reasons of his or her health, you understand that the tuition is due and payable for such days the child does not attend the center. Disenrollment policy. Our establishment reserves the right to disenroll any child whose behavior creates a risk of harm to the health and safety of other children or staff. Examples of disenrollment reasons: non-payment of fees, failure to swipe children in and out daily, custody struggles that interfere with the program, extremely harmful behavior of child or parent. Arrival and departure of your child. For the safety of your child and security reasons, there are certain regulations governing the arrival and departure of each child. All centers are equipped with a keypad entry system to ensure that only those persons with the access entry code can enter the building. Parents will be given a code to enter during the regular operating hours of the center. The entry code will be changed periodically to ensure security. Parents are not permitted to give the code to other persons picking up your child on an infrequent basis. Please have authorized people ring the bell and present their ID for verification. Do not prop open the doors of the building. Do not hold open the door for others entering the building. Please notify us of any person that you observe acting in a suspicious manner or loitering. Parents or guardians must accompany the child or children into the center, accompany the child or children to the classroom, allow enough time to assist their children in starting their day, notify the teacher that your child is arriving or departing. Children may not enter the building without a parent or guardian. Once the parent or guardian has picked up the child from the classroom, they are no longer in the care of Jelly Bean Junction. Please do not take your child from the classroom until the teacher in charge has seen you and knows that the child is leaving. Jelly Bean Junction discourages parents from leaving without saying goodbye to their child. This is frightening for young children. Please allow a few extra minutes to transition your child into the program. If someone else is picking up the child, other than the parent or guardian, they must be listed on the authorized pickup list. Individuals must be listed on the pickup list by parents in advance. This cannot be done over the phone or email. Show a picture ID, preferably a driver's license. Staff will not release children to anyone, including parents who appear to be under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Emergency contacts will be called to transport the child home. Police will be notified if necessary. When you're dropping off or picking up children at the center, you cannot leave your car running or leave children unattended in the car. Please note that parking is not allowed in any area not designated for parking or fire lanes. All vehicles must park in designated parking spaces, and handicap spaces are reserved for vehicles with properly displayed handicap license plates or placards. Children are never to be in the parking lot area unattended. Curriculum. It is the goal of Jelly Bean Junction Learning Center to provide a curriculum framework where children will be able to explore and learn. We help children become independent thinkers, self-motivated learners, and work well with others. We do this by creating an environment rich in language and exploration that will guide children's growth in all areas. We believe that the experiences your child will receive in our classrooms will last a lifetime. Jelly Bean Junction's curriculum is guided by the Early Learning and Development Standards published by the Ohio Department of Education. We also use a curriculum framework which is evidence-based and Step Up to Quality approved. Teachers plan daily lessons based on child assessments to meet the needs of each individual learner. Teachers plan activities that focus intentional learning in the following areas: social and emotional, language, cognitive, literacy, mathematics, science and technology, social studies, and arts. Through planned experiences and careful structure of the classroom environment, we will give your child a successful start toward their school career. Look what we did today. Do you ever ask your child what they did today and frequently hear nothing? Each day, the teacher will post photos and the classroom activities for the day through a web-based program which is sent to the caregiver's email. This will allow a quick way to check your child's day. This will lead to great conversations on your way home and will help stimulate your child's memory. Staff. We believe that children deserve to have teachers who are capable and caring and whose values enable them to be excellent role models. We are proud of our staff at Jelly Bean Junction. You'll find our staff to be incredibly positive and committed to motivating children to become self-reliant, self-confident, respectful of others, and lifelong learners. The staff members at Jelly Bean Junction are provided with a variety of training programs to assist their professional development. Anytime a staff member has a general problem, they are to immediately address the issue with their center director. These programs are designed to enhance the abilities of each staff member in care and education of each child. Transitioning into Jelly Bean Junction. It is important during big transitions to provide stability and understanding for young children. At Jelly Bean Junction, we want to make sure your family's first day is successful and exciting. Our directors are eager to meet with your incoming families and are always available to schedule a welcome meeting prior to your family beginning at our school. During the meeting, we will get to know your family, go over your paperwork and any additional information, introduce you to the teachers, tour your family around your child's new classroom, discuss drop-off and pick-up procedures, and answer any questions you may have. Our classroom teachers will introduce your little one to everyone on the first day of school and will welcome your family into Jelly Bean Junction school family. Transitioning out of Jelly Bean Junction. It is always hard to say goodbye as our teachers and administrators form a strong bond with each child and family within our school. However, if you do make the difficult decision to withdraw from our schools, we want to make the transition as comfortable as possible for your family. Our classroom teachers will prepare the children in the class for a final farewell and will help collect artwork and personal belongings. As a final goodbye, we will find a special way to say farewell and thank you. Classroom selection. Classroom assignments and curriculum are based upon each child's age and developmental level. Also, when your child is ready to move to the older classroom assignment, the classroom teacher and/or center administrator will consult with you prior to the transition. Your child's age, social development, emotional development, and self-care skills will be evaluated prior to the transition. Transitioning to another classroom. Some children are ready to move straight into a new classroom while others need to be eased in gradually. Children requiring transition time from one classroom to the next shall have a pre-established period of time to gradually become acclimated to their new classroom. This time shall be communicated verbally and in written form with the parents' input. This will be done through a written transitioning schedule that will include the dates and times. This agreement is between the parent and the staff and will be on file in the office and available in the classroom. Rest time. All children need a balance of quiet and active experiences throughout the day. If your child does not nap or does not fall asleep after an appropriate amount of time, they will be provided with quiet activities. Every child 12 months and older will be provided with a small blanket that will be stored at the school and washed at the school weekly. Due to limited storage space, we do not allow cot covers, sheets, or pillows for use while at the center. Children will be provided with a cot and infants will be provided with a crib. Once your child is 12 months, you will be asked to sign a permission form to begin the transition from crib to cot. Infants cannot have blankets, pillows, or stuffed animals due to safety issues. Children on a cot may bring a small lovey as a comfort item for nap time. Conferences. Conferences will give you the opportunity to discuss your child's program, progress, and any concerns you may have. Because you are at the center several times a week, short discussions can be held between you and your child's teacher about his or her daily progress. For a longer discussion, a conference can be scheduled. Jelly Bean Junction conducts formal assessments on enrolled children annually, which are completed by the center and the parents. The program reports child-level data to ODJFS pursuant to 5101-21702 of the Administrative Code, as well as to parents. Toileting. It is important that the center have a record of your child's toilet habits. If your child is not yet potty trained, you must supply us with disposable diapers and wipes for your child. It is especially important for parents and teachers to be in frequent communication with each other about the child's progress. When you feel your child is ready to be potty trained and you are ready to begin potty training at home, let the staff know and they will be more than glad to help you through the process. During the process, you will be required to bring multiple outfits, underwear, socks, and an extra set of shoes each day. If we are not provided with extra clothing, we will not be able to facilitate the training process. Clothing. Dress your child in washable, sturdy play clothes for school. We recommend sending children in tennis shoes. Tennis shoes protect toes and feet when on the playground to prevent injuries. Your child must arrive to school in a well-fitting shoe with a closed toe and with a back strap. We will do our best to protect your child's clothing during meals and crafts. However, children play hard and their clothing can become soiled on any given day. No reimbursements will be given for clothing for any reason. An extra set of clothing, well labeled, including underwear, socks, pants, shirt, and shoes, must be left at school in case of accidents. Accidents do not only happen when the children are potty training. Children may need extra clothing after a milk spill, paint, or water spill. Lost clothing is a problem most of us just can't afford. Help yourself and us by clearly marking your child's name on all clothing, including jackets, sweaters, and their change of clothing. Parents must also provide extra diapers and wipes. We will not borrow clothing, diapers, or wipes from another child. If your child needs to have their clothing changed and you have not provided us with extra change of clothes, you will be called at work. Once you have been notified through our web-based program about the need for diapers or wipes, and they are not provided, your account will be charged $5 daily for these items until they are brought into the center. Lost or misplaced items. Please be advised that Jelly Bean Junction will not assume responsibility for any lost, misplaced, or damaged personal items brought to the center. We will make every effort to keep those items from getting lost or broken, but we will not offer any kind of reimbursement for lost or damaged property. Please label your child's possessions properly to help us keep track of individual belongings and minimize the number of personal items brought to the center. Field trips. Parents or guardians must fill out the required field trip permission forms before the child may participate in the field trip. Jelly Bean Junction will provide enough staff members to meet the state requirements at all times and to ensure all children will be supervised at all times while on a field trip. Each child will be assigned a specific caregiver who will routinely check their roster to account for all children, especially during times of arrival, departure, and transitioning. We will use the center van or bus for transporting children on field trips. On occasion, we may use public transportation for transporting children on field trips. Only children 4 years or older will be transported in the Jelly Bean Junction Learning Center van or bus for field trips. A child must also have completed kindergarten to participate in the field trips. If there is a body of water present at the site of the field trip, you will be notified. Because of the restrictions surrounding swimming field trips, we will no longer go in actual swimming pools, but will still go to water activity areas. Children will not be permitted to be dropped off or picked up from the field trip location, while dropping off and picking up must take place at the center. We will not transport for field trips during a tornado watch. Outdoor play. Research has shown that children stay healthier when they have daily outdoor play. Jelly Bean Junction has chosen playground equipment especially designed for children's development. Safety surfaces are embedded on the playground, which will absorb falls and cover the portion of the playground underneath the equipment, while hard surfaced areas are provided for riding toys and ball games. Your children will be supervised very closely while on the playground by our wonderfully skilled staff. Outdoor play is provided each day in suitable weather for children in attendance for 4 or more consecutive daylight hours. Outdoor play will not occur if poor air quality conditions exist, including heat and smog advisories and wind chill. The outdoor temperature feels like 24 degrees Fahrenheit or lower. Outdoor times may be shortened in extreme weather conditions. The center will obtain any weather or safety issue information from local news and radio broadcasts. When outdoor play is not available, we have a variety of activities available indoor that can include mats for gymnastics, planned group games, music, movement, activities, dance, etc. Every child that is well enough to attend our center must be well enough to engage in all activities, including outdoor play. It is especially important to make sure your child is prepared with adequate outdoor clothing. This includes keeping a set of gloves and a hat in your child's cubby at all times from September through April. Newsletters. The center will periodically publish newsletters containing information on activities, parent issues, and other news items. These newsletters will be available to all parents of enrolled children. Optional programs, school pictures. Professional photographers will come to the center once a year to take your child's photo. There is no charge for the photo session. The purchase of the pictures is optional. Summer camp for school age. Each summer school child will be given the opportunity to take part in an outstanding educational and recreational program. The center will be transporting school age children to several recreational as well as educational sites in the metropolitan area. Parents and guardians must fill out the required field trip permission forms before the child may participate in the field trip. Parents will be given a schedule for all activities in advance of the trips. There will be an additional charge for the summer camp program. Summer camp fees are non-refundable. Please check with your center administrator for details. Children and illness at the school. Jelly Bean Junction adheres to the requirements of OAC 5101-216 regarding elementary and health-related plans and OAC 5101-225 regarding medication administration, food supplements, and medical foods. Jelly Bean Junction provides children with a clean and healthy environment for all children in attendance, and to do so we ask that if your child is sick, please keep him or her home until he or she has been treated or symptoms have gone away. If this is your child's first group care experience, it is possible that we may experience more frequent illness at the beginning before their immune system becomes more active. We ask that you not bring sick children to the center. They will be sent home. Please plan ahead and have a backup care plan in place if you are not able to take time off of work or school. Upon arrival at the center, the teacher, as required by ODJFS, observes each child for signs and symptoms of illness. If a sign or symptom is identified, the parent or guardian will be advised prior to leaving the building. Any child with any of the following signs or symptoms of illness shall be immediately isolated and discharged to his parent or guardian. Any employee with the following signs or symptoms will be sent home and a substitute teacher will be called in. A temperature of at least 101 degrees Fahrenheit, 100 degrees if taken under the arm, when in combination with any other sign or symptom of illness. Example, lethargic, tired, crying, not acting normal, etc. Diarrhea, 3 or more loose stools. This is stools with increased water content and or decreased form in a 24-hour period. Severe coughing, causing the child to become red or blue in the face or to make a whooping sound. Difficult or rapid breathing. Yellowish skin or eyes. Redness of the eye or eyelid. Thick and purulent pus, eye discharge. Matted eyelashes, burning, itching, or eye pain. Untreated infected skin patches. Unusual spots or rashes. Unusually dark urine and or gray or white stool. A stiff neck with an elevated temperature. Evidence of untreated lice, scabies, or other parasitic infestations. Our center has a nip-free policy. Sore throat or difficulty swallowing. Vomiting more than one time when accompanied by any other sign or symptom of illness. When caring for sick children, the school shall isolate the sick child away from other children, but within sight and hearing at all times. Provide the sick child with a cot or mat or the sick infant with a crib and make comfortable. Notify the child's parents immediately if the child's condition worsens. Launder bedding and wash toys used by the sick child before use by another child, pursuant to Rule 5101-212-13 of the Administrative Code. Sanitize the thermometer after each use. The center shall follow the Ohio Department of Health Child Care Communicable Disease Chart found in the office for appropriate management of suspected illnesses. Isolation of a child from the group means removing the child from the room, but not out of sight and sound of a staff member. This will be in the director's office or the staff break room with direct supervision. Children will be readmitted to the center after at least 24 hours of being fever-free and other symptoms. If they are not symptom-free, a doctor's note will be required stating that the child is not contagious. Parents, emergency contacts of sick children need to have children picked up from the center within an hour of being contacted by the center administrator. In the event of a diagnosed communicable disease, the parents of other children attending the center will be notified by placement of a sign on the classroom door and or by email. All employees will be taught the proper hand washing methods. General anesthesia policy. Children are not permitted to attend Jelly Bean Junction until 24 hours after general anesthesia has been administered. Medications that must be administered at Jelly Bean. Our center follows the Ohio licensing regulations regarding the administration of medication. There are no exceptions. All medications, including creams and lotions, must be delivered to the office. Do not leave medications in the classroom with your child's teacher. The center director will help you complete the necessary paperwork and deliver the medication to the classroom if needed. Whenever possible, we ask that medications be given at home. We will not permit our staff to administer the first dose of a medication in case of an allergy or intolerance. All medications, lotions, and creams must have a completed request for administration of medication form. No medication may be in our centers without this completed form. Do not send medications, lotions, or creams in a diaper bag, purses, and or backpacks. In an effort to keep all children safe and reduce the risk of potential harm, we will only administer the following medications to your child while in attendance at the centers while needed. Topical medications. Jelly Bean Junction will administer the following topical medications according to manufacturer instructions. Diaper rash cream and sunscreen. Diaper cream and other topical products will be used as treatment for 1 week only. We will not apply creams for more than 1 week at a time without proper documentation from a medical provider. We do not apply bug spray. Children can wear bug repellent bands provided the proper documentation is on file, all manufacturer guidelines are followed, and the child comes to school wearing the band. Time-sensitive medications. Jelly Bean Junction will administer time-sensitive behavior modification medication only as directed by a physician. Completion of Box 2 of the request for administration of medication form must be completed. If needed during the hours of operation, as directed by a physician, medication will not be administered without written permission from a physician. Emergency medications. Jelly Bean Junction will administer emergency medications with completion of Box 2 on the request for administration of medication form. such as but not limited to inhalers, Diastat, Benadryl, EpiPens, etc. Medication will not be administered without written permission from a physician. When the doctor completes Box 2 of the Request for Administration of Medication form, they must list the exact name of the medication at the center. School-age children and inhalers. JBJ has a policy that school-age children must turn their inhalers into the office upon arrival. There must be appropriate written instructions on the medical form by the parent. The children are not permitted to keep the inhalers in their possession while in our schools. Storage of medications. All medication is to be delivered to the director's office upon arrival in the center. Medications, fluoride supplements, and food supplements shall be kept in a safe location where children cannot reach them. A medication requiring refrigeration shall be refrigerated immediately upon arrival at the center and shall be stored so as not to contaminate food. Medications will be removed from the center when they are no longer needed or if the label indicates that the medication is expired. Nutritional services, meals and snacks. At Jelly Bean Junction, we feel it is especially important to provide proper nutrition and for children to sample good foods. Jelly Bean Junction participates in the USDA program. Grains, fruits, and dairy products are given for breakfast from approximately 8 to 8:30 a.m. Students must arrive by 8:20 a.m. to be served breakfast. A well-balanced lunch consisting of 1/3 of the daily requirements in the 4 food groups is served. Lunch is served for infants and toddlers from 11:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. and for preschool 11:45 to 12:15. A nutritious snack is served in the afternoon from at least 2 of the 4 food groups. Snack is served approximately 2:30 to 3:30. Please let us know ahead of time if your child is not permitted to have any types of food due to allergies or religious beliefs. Food may only be sent from home if your child has a special diet under a doctor's orders or religious beliefs. Special diets. For any allergy requiring epinephrine, with the exception of nut allergies, the family must provide all meals during the times when the child is in attendance. For all other allergies, the family will be required to meet with the center director to develop a plan for meeting the needs of the child. The plan will first be approved by our corporate team, then signed by the center director and family prior to implementation. Families will not receive any tuition discounts when required to provide their own meals. We will provide meals for all children with nut allergies. We strive to maintain a nut-free facility. However, please be aware that items in the kitchen and served to the classroom may have been processed on machinery that also processes tree nuts. If the child cannot eat products processed on machinery that also process tree nuts, the family will be required to provide all meals during the time when the child is in attendance. Any child with allergies must have all required Jelly Bean Junction and ODJFS paperwork completed prior to enrollment and must renew the paperwork when requested or annually. While Jelly Bean Junction Learning Centers follows all required protocols, Jelly Bean Junction Learning Center should not be held responsible, and the parents shall indemnify, save, and hold Jelly Bean Junction harmless for any consequences that occur if your child comes into contact with any allergen or substances that could affect your child adversely. Infant food. Jelly Bean Junction provides one type of iron-fortified formula, single-ingredient baby food, and iron-fortified infant cereal. Menus for provided infant meals are available for your review. Menus for provided infant meals are available for your review until the age of 12 months. Once your child is 12 months, we highly encourage all families to have transitioned their child onto the Jelly Bean Junction School traditional menu. Please speak with the center director for specific information about food provided at Jelly Bean Junction. Parents of infants who do not wish to participate in the planned infant menu can provide their own food through the child's first birthday. Food and bottles must be prepared at home in safe and sanitary containers. Bottles must have proper fitting lids to prevent contamination. All bottles and foods must be labeled with the child's name and date of preparation. All bottles containing breast milk must be labeled with the date of extraction and date of preparation. All feeding instructions must be documented in written form. Parents must provide 1 can of ready-made formula or frozen breast milk along with 1 clean and sanitized bottle in case of an emergency situation. If you choose to breastfeed at the center, please speak with the center directors for a space to breastfeed. Birthdays and special celebrations. Children are invited to celebrate their birthdays at school. Children enjoy sharing this special day with their friends and teachers. If parents choose to bring a birthday treat, it must be pre-packaged and peanut and nut free. No homemade treats. Please notify the director and the teacher ahead of time so we can plan for allergies and prepare for this special event. USDA. Meals are available to all enrolled participants without regard to race, color, national origin, sex, age, or disability and will be served at no separate charge. The U.S. Department of Agriculture prohibits discrimination against its customers, employees, and applicants for employment on the basis of race, color, national origin, age, disability, sex, gender identity, religion, reprisal, and, where applicable, political beliefs, marital status, familial or parental status, sexual orientation, or all or part of an individual's income is derived from any public assistance program or protected genetic information in employment or in any program or activity conducted or funded by the department. Not all prohibited bases will apply to all programs and/or employment activities. If you wish to file a civil rights program complaint of discrimination, complete the USDA Program Discrimination Complaint Form found online or at any USDA office. You can also call 1-866-632-9992 to request the form. You may also write a letter containing all of the information requested in the form. Send your completed complaint form or letter to us by U.S. mail to the Department of Agriculture, Director, Office of Adjunction, 1400 Independence Avenue, Southwest, Washington, D.C. 20250. You can fax it to 202-690-7442 or email program.intake@usda.gov. Individuals who are deaf or hard of hearing or have speech disabilities may contact USDA through the Federal Relay Service at 800-877-8339 or for Spanish 800-845-6136. USDA is an equal opportunity provider and employer. Safety. Jelly Bean Junction takes the responsibility of your child's safety very seriously. We feel that the safety of the children in our care is the responsibility of everyone involved, including administrators, teachers, and parents. Children are never left alone or unattended. Staff members are trained in safety policies and emergency procedures. In the following section of the handbook, we will inform you of many of our safety policies. We will also outline the procedures we will follow in an emergency situation. Toys from home. Our centers strive to meet all health, safety, and developmental needs of children. Only age-appropriate non-toxic materials are used in our centers. Please do not send toys from home to school with your child. Past experience has shown us toys from home create many problems at school. Teachers may request that items such as family photos, books, or cultural items be brought in occasionally for theme-related activities or shared days. Infant sleep position. Infants will be placed on their backs to sleep. Infant care. Allow infants to safely and comfortably sit, crawl, toddle, walk, and play according to the infant's stage of development. Each infant will be removed from the crib, swing, infant seat, exercise seat, or other equipment throughout the day for individual attention. Provide each non-crawling infant with the opportunity for tummy time each day. Maintain a daily written record for each infant that is provided on the infant's parent or person picking up the infant on a daily basis. Each infant shall be removed from his or her crib for all feedings. Infants shall be held or fed sitting up for bottled feedings. At no time shall a bottle be propped for an infant. Infants' diapers will be checked every 2 to 3 hours unless otherwise instructed by parent, but not to exceed every 3 hours. Injury procedures. An incident or injury report shall be completed by the child care staff member in charge of the child and a copy given to whomever picks up that night when the following occurs: an illness, accident, or injury which requires first aid treatment, a bumper blow to the head, emergency transporting, or an unusual or unexpected event which jeopardizes the safety of children or staff. In case of a severe injury that requires immediate medical treatment, staff will call 911. Parents and guardians will be notified immediately if this occurs. In the event of a physical accident or emergency illness, Jelly Bean Junction has my permission to administer as it sees fit for the child's best interest. Jelly Bean Junction's insurance coverage is designed to work with my personal health insurance. If the expenses for an accident are less than $100, Jelly Bean Junction policy will pay 100%. Expenses incurred over the initial $100 will be the responsibility of the child's family or the child's health insurance carrier. Extreme emergency situations concerning your child. Serious incident, injury, or illness includes any situation occurring while a child is in care of the school that requires emergency medical treatment or professional consultation or transportation for emergency treatment. It is extremely important that we have current information in your child's enrollment file. We will need to contact you if your child becomes ill or an emergency occurs. If a parent cannot make it to the school prior to the transport of a child by an emergency squad, a staff member will accompany the child in the squad. All pertinent data and health record information will be transported with the child. We will not enroll a child without permission to transport in a medical emergency. We will not transport your child by any means other than emergency squad. You are only giving us permission to give the emergency squad permission to transport. For any serious incident, the center will log into oclqs.force.com by the next business day to report the incident and complete the JFS 1156 Serious Incident Reporting for Childcare. This notification does not replace reporting to the Public Children's Services Agency if there are concerns of child abuse and neglect, as required by Rule 5101-212-19 of the Administrative Code. We are required to notify caretakers when a serious risk noncompliance is cited in an inspection report. The notification requirements are outlined in 5101-212-03 of the Administrative Code for Child Care Centers and Rule 5101-213-03 of the OAC for Family Child Care Programs. Safety inspections and emergency drills. Centers are inspected regularly by licensing, fire, and health department personnel. Our employees also conduct internal safety inspections. Emergency procedures and evacuation plans are posted in each classroom, which explains actions to be taken by the staff in these situations. Each teacher must take the completed attendance sheet outside to account for each group. Fire drills are conducted monthly. Weather drills are conducted monthly during the months of March through September, and lockdown drills are conducted quarterly so children are familiar with procedures for evacuation. General emergency situations. The safety of your children is top priority for Jelly Bean Junction. General emergencies include any threats to the safety of children due to environmental situations or threats of violence, natural disasters such as fire, tornado, flood, etc., loss of power, heat, or water. In this situation, the center will follow the directions on our general emergency plan. If the building cannot be occupied, they will go to the designated emergency shelter, which is listed on the center location page. In the event a shelter-in-place order from authorities should occur, procedures are in place to assure the safety of children and staff. Your child will be cared for by their routine caregivers whenever possible to promote continuity of care. Once the shelter-in-place order is lifted by authorities, you may pick up your child. No child will be released to any parent or guardian until this order is lifted. In the event of orders to evacuate a center, we will contact local authorities for evacuation instructions. Once at the evacuation site, parents and guardians will be permission to interview with media and release to photograph and videotape. In consideration for the opportunity to participate in and appear in media, including press and television interviews, photographs, digital images, and videotape images, I hereby grant to Jelly Bean Junction Learning Centers the absolute and irrevocable royalty-free right and permission with respect to any film, still photograph, or digital image taken of me and or my child, to reproduce, broadcast, rebroadcast, and otherwise transmit and publish, and licensed others to do so throughout the world, the images in whole or in part, individually or in conjunction with other recorded materials in any medium, whether now, known, or hereinafter invented, and for any purpose, including but not limited to presentations associated with the educational, training, or marketing purposes of Jelly Bean Junction Learning Centers. To use my name, likeness, and program affiliation information concerning me in connection therewith if Jelly Bean Junction Learning Centers chooses to do so. To edit my appearance as Jelly Bean Junction Learning Centers deems appropriate, I hereby waive any right that I may have to inspect or approve the images, their use, or any printed or audio matter that may be used with them, and release and discharge Jelly Bean Junction Learning Centers and its officers, directors, employees, contractors, agents, and any designees from any and all claims and demands arising out of or in connection with the use of the images, including, but not limited to, any claims for defamation or invasion of privacy. I understand and acknowledge that Jelly Bean Junction Learning Centers reserves the right to use or not use the images at its sole discretion. Other safety precautions. All children will be supervised at all times by an employee. Attendance will be taken upon the arrival and departure of each child. Teachers will be responsible for the safety of the children within the group. Phones are located in the office for emergency calls. The use of aerosols shall be prohibited when children are in the center. There will always be at least one member of the staff trained in CPR and certified in first aid at all times. Per ODJFS rules and regulations, daycare personnel are mandated reporters and are required by law to report to Children Protective Services if they suspect or know that child abuse is occurring. If the staff is not sure they have enough information to report, they are to always err on the safety of the child. Children's Services screens all reports to determine if there is enough information to investigate. Parents are not required to be notified by Jelly Bean Junction staff if a call to Child Protective Services has been made. The Ohio Revised Code states that no person shall knowingly possess, have under the person's control, convey, or attempt to convey a deadly weapon or dangerous ordinance into Jelly Bean Junction unless otherwise authorized by law. School-age children. Staff members conduct a child count at arrival and departure time for all children. Parents are to notify the center of their child's schedule and any change. It is mandatory for school-age parents to notify the center if their child or children will not be in attendance for the day. This is especially important for our transportation safety. Failure to abide by this policy could mean disenrollment of your child. In the event that a school-age child has not arrived off the school bus, van, or other outside program other than the child's home at the expected time, the center will take the following actions. Contact school or outside program, contact parents. School-age children must be fully potty trained. They are permitted to use the restroom alone or run errands inside the building in groups of no more than 6 children within the sight or hearing of an adult. In the event of a delay or cancellation of school, our center is staffed accordingly to provide for those school-age children enrolled at our center. School-age children will report to the school-age classroom as normal. Bus and transportation policy. Transportation is available for school-age children only to and from local elementary schools. Consult the director regarding the school service. The school system provides yellow bus service, plus most of our centers have a bus for transporting children during routine trips. Written parent or guardian permission is required for routine trips. There will be a zero tolerance for disruptive behavior on Jelly Bean Junction's bus during transport. Guidance and Behavior Management Policy. The Guidance and Behavior Management Policy was established with the knowledge that children need clear limits which are set in ways that do not negatively influence their self-esteem or keep them from developing their full human potential. We believe that all of our children should experience success. Our classroom environments provide the students with opportunities to explore within consistent, age-appropriate limits. In general, limits are set to keep a child from hurting him or herself, to keep a child from hurting others, or to keep a child from infringing on others' property. Limits are set positively. Each age group has similar needs for limits, but useful techniques vary with the child's developmental level. If behavioral issues occur, our philosophy is to enable the children to learn human values and take responsibility for their own actions. We strive to minimize behavioral issues while creating a positive environment for all children. All staff members are trained in appropriate supervision and are expected to follow these guidelines. This discipline policy applies to all staff and parents while they are at the center. Classroom management. Supervision is consistently maintained. Set reasonable standards for children's behavior based on their developmental levels. Become familiar with that child's special needs. Provide challenging, age-appropriate experiences. Appropriate behavior will be reinforced. Techniques used to correct inappropriate behavior. Verbal intervention. This technique should be used when disciplining the child. The classroom teacher will model appropriate ways to handle the situation and give the child tools to utilize in the future. For example, a teacher will encourage the child to verbalize their frustration to another child instead of reacting physically. Redirection and choices. We will offer the child choices, suggest a different toy or a new activity to a child who is engaged in an undesirable behavior. The idea of giving the child choices is to empower them to engage in a more calming situation. Teachable moments. In a moment of frustration, the teacher will work with the child to teach how to better handle the situation. For example, if a child throws a block, first the teacher will relate that action to classroom safety. Next, the teacher will walk the child over to the block area and then model appropriate block play. Praise for appropriate behavior. This technique should be used all the time. In using this technique, you will be giving the child attention for appropriate behavior and reinforcement for positive actions. Calming strategies. The teacher will assist the child in utilizing calming techniques. Examples would be using the safe place or practicing breathing techniques. A safe place could be a designated area in the classroom with calming toys, pillows, or biting. Biting is a behavior that we at Jelly Bean Junction take very seriously. Most bites occur in the toddler and older infant classrooms. It is not unheard of for a preschooler to bite in some situations. Children bite because it feels good on maturing teeth and gums. Biting brings an immediate response from the victim. Children explore through their senses. Toddlers and older infants are in an oral fixation stage of development. Children see biting as a means to get what they want. Before language skills are perfected, children communicate physically. Jelly Bean Junction takes a proactive approach to biting. We are consistently improving our classrooms and teacher training to create a comfortable, stress-free learning environment. Jelly Bean Junction teachers engage in play with children rather than watching from afar, recognize signs of frustration and intervene when tempers flare, encourage children to communicate feelings verbally and with gentle touches, ask administration to help observe and make recommendations, plan activities that stimulate language and the explanation of feelings, give alternative outlets for biting behaviors, focus on children who are going through a biting stage. Once a child bites, Jelly Bean Junction teachers respond immediately by consoling the victim. This gives the victim the desired attention that the biter may be seeking. Wash the affected area with soap and water and apply ice. Watch the bite closely for the next few hours. Examine the situation in which the bite occurred in an effort to identify the cause. Document and inform parents of the victim and the biter. If the child is a recurring biter, Jelly Bean Junction may request a conference with the parents to begin to create an action plan. Understand that with any inappropriate behavior, the identity of all children will be kept confidential. Guidelines for persistent inappropriate behavior. Persistent inappropriate behavior is any behavior that continues after the proper guidance steps have been performed. The following procedure will occur if the child continues to break the rules and guidelines of our program. We will use these progressive procedures. Written observations and records of the child's behavior will be kept. Discussions will be conducted between director, parents, teachers if the inappropriate behavior continues. For further guidance, the center director may suggest outside resources to help the child's behavior. If inappropriate behavior continues, the child will be placed on probation. If the inappropriate behavior still persists, the child will be placed on suspension. The parent may be asked to keep the child home for 3 to 5 days. If the inappropriate behavior persists after the child is sent home on suspension, we will request that parents withdraw the child from the center. If the behavior is to cause harm to other children, self, staff, or other personnel in the building, the child may be immediately disenrolled from the program without following the steps listed above. The guidance and behavior management policies will apply to all employees of the center that are on the premises. Parent staff policies. Parent-employee member participation. Parents are always welcome at Jelly Bean Junction Learning Centers. Stop in, visit your child, and join us in our activities anytime. We believe parents are the most significant adults in a child's life. We do everything possible to promote your involvement in our programs. Developing methods for keeping communication flowing freely is an important part of each staff member's responsibility. Your input is important to us. Teachers are available to discuss a child's progress or needs at any time. However, due to the staff responsibilities and schedules, parents are asked to make appointments with staff when it is necessary to engage in any lengthy conversations. Teachers want to be able to focus on you and your child at these times. Please feel free to bring concerns up when they occur. Often they can be addressed when they are little problems before they grow into bigger problems. Any general problems or concerns with parent or staff should be addressed to the center director. They will set up a meeting with all concerned. If there is no resolution, the next step would be to contact the regional supervisor. We want you to have a clear communication system within the center and beyond. We seek your active involvement in the center's program, particularly in following your child's progress. We encourage you to attend Parents' Night, parent-teacher conferences, and center open house events. Grievance policy. If you have a concern or problem, please notify immediately in writing the administrator for your center as identified on page 3, and the administrator will arrange to have a discussion with you about your concern or problem. If the concern or problem is not rectified to your satisfaction after the discussion with the administrator, then please notify Diana Moore at dmoore@jellybeanjunction.com of the nature of your concern or problem. Diana Moore will address the concern or problem and advise you of Jelly Bean Junction's decision, which shall be final. Policy changes. The Parent and Staff Policies and Procedures Handbook has been written for parents and staff to promote an understanding of the current programs, policies, and procedures of Jelly Bean Junction Learning Centers. Please understand that the child care business is continually changing. Therefore, there may be times that we have to change policies, procedures, or programs with little or no notice. Jelly Bean Junction Learning Centers does reserve the right to modify or change the policies, procedures, or program at any time. This handbook shall not be construed as a contract between Jelly Bean Junction Learning Centers and any of its customers, students, or employees. Waiver and release of liability. In consideration of the risk of health, injury, and potential death that can occur from coronavirus, I am choosing to remain bringing my child or children to the daycare facility for the company to provide daycare for my family. I hereby, for myself, my child, and/or children, my executors, administrators, assigns, or personal representatives, hereinafter collectively the releaser, I or me, which term shall also include releaser's parent or guardian if releaser is under 18 years of age, knowingly and voluntarily enter into this waiver and release of liability, and hereby waive any and all rights, claims, and causes of action of any kind arising out of my child and/or children attending daycare at the company's daycare facility during the coronavirus issues before us. And I hereby release and forever discharge Consolidated Learning Centers and/or the Barrington School, affiliated entities, managers, members, agents, attorneys, staff, volunteers, representatives, successors, and assigns, collectively releasers, from any physical or psychological injury that I and/or my child and/or children may suffer as a result of my participation in my choosing to send my child or children to the daycare facility. The activity in which I am participating is my voluntary choice to send my child or children to the daycare facility for daycare as needed. I am voluntarily participating in this activity, and I am participating in this activity entirely at my own risk. I am aware of the risks associated with participating in this activity, which may include but are not limited to physical or psychological injury, pain, suffering, illness, temporary or permanent disability, economic or emotional loss, and/or death, all related to the coronavirus. I understand that these injuries or outcomes may arise from my own choices. I am choosing to send my child or children to the daycare facility for daycare purposes. I further agree to indemnify, defend, and hold harmless the releases against any and all claims, suits, or actions of any kind whatsoever for liability, damages, compensation, or otherwise brought by me or anyone on my behalf, including attorney fees and any related costs. I hereby acknowledge that I have carefully read this waiver and release and fully understand that it is a release of liability. I expressly agree to release and discharge releases from any and all claims or causes of action, and I agree to voluntarily give up or waive any right that I otherwise have to bring a legal action against the releases for personal injury, property damage, or death. If you have any questions specific to this training, please email info@jellybeanjunction.com. Someone from our corporate office will be in touch soon to answer your questions.